Inside every single one of us, there are actually two persons. And these two persons inside each one of us, they are unique and they are opposites of each other. The first person is a leader and the second person is a loser. The leader is one who takes responsibility. The leader is one who takes ownership, accountability, looks at helping other people, and looks at being part of the solution. The loser is someone who complains. The loser is someone who blames other people, who is always part of the problem and never part of the solution. The question you're going to ask is, which person is going to dominate? The person that you nourish is the person that is going to dominate and lead and drive your life. I'm going to share a story of an outstanding teacher and headmaster who spoke to that leader inside me. His name is Mac Mahan, this dashing and very handsome looking man walks into the class. He made an immediate impact on me. In a few days, he handled a grammar class and he went up to the board and he wrote this sentence: Ganesh eats a mango. Then he asked this question, which he posed to the whole class: which is the verb in this sentence? Ganesh eats a mango. And the student said, the verb is mango. So Mac nodded his head and smiled and he said, okay, so why don't you take a seat? And he said, would you stand? And the student stood. And then he said, would you hop? And the student hopped. Now everyone was looking rather quizzically what was happening. And then he said, would you jump? And the student jumped. Now the student was confused. And now Mac looked at the student and he said, would you mango? And the student was very confused and the whole class started to laugh. And he looked at the student and he asked him, do you understand what a verb is? Not only did the student nod his head spontaneously, but the whole class said, we understand what a verb is. And the verb is eats. When I went through this class, I was filled with awe because I realized that he was teaching grammar not by telling us, but by demonstrating in an experiential manner. It was a transformational and experiential learning. And in that class, I realized what a great teacher could do and how you can teach someone by making what you teach completely experiential. I'd like to share another incident which made a very deep impact on me. I was in my 9th grade, about 14 years old. I was the captain of the school and I was also the prefect of this class. And I was a very popular student. And for this particular biology class, the teacher couldn't make it. The biology teacher couldn't make it because he was sick. And this class became so noisy that it started to disturb the adjacent classes. And the teachers of the adjacent classes complained to the headmaster, who was Mac. So I was summoned to the headmaster's room, and I was walking stricken with fear because I was going to meet this man that I hero worshipped and looked up to with so much of respect and admiration. I was taken to his room, and then he said, "Karthik, would you take your seat?" And I took my seat. And he looked at me very kindly and said, "You are the captain of the school and the prefect of this class for a reason, Karthik. This is because all of us and all students consider you a role model." And he said, "As a role model, I want you to understand that it is more important that you win the respect of your students and your classmates rather than just be very popular with them." And then he looked at me and said, "You're going to go very far in your life. You're going to achieve a lot of things in your future. I have tremendous faith in you as a leader." He pointed towards the leader that was inside me rather than the loser that was in me. He pointed out why I was a good student and why I was a role model rather than condemning me for being a failure as a prefect or as the captain of the school. And in that instant, I realized what leadership meant. When you activate that leader, it is that leader who becomes stronger. And a great leader is one who creates other great leaders. And I realized a truly great teacher awakens the leader in every student. I wanted to share this powerful story about Mac, in fact, two stories, because Mac completely changed my life. He completely transformed this class of 1980. He completely transformed this school, and he completely revolutionized and transformed this town, Virudhunagar. Thousands and thousands of students were inspired by this incredible teacher. And I'd like to say this to Mac, even though he's not here physically with us. Thank you, Mac. Thank you, sir. You have no idea how much you have changed my life. All my life, people have called me a leadership expert. People have called me a strategy expert. People have called me a mentor to CEOs and governments. But all I wanted to do all my life was just to be like Mac, like you. Thank you for lighting this fire, for lighting this flame. And this flame, I know, still burns in thousands and thousands of students like me. Thank you.